when you go to publish and produce your podcast guest interviews, how do you increase the visibility of those so that you, as the producer, are also maximizing the resource of your time and converting those into viable leads? Way to be recommended by a podcast host or invited back is to show that active promotional side. They're not asking you to do that. Usually it's not a requirement, but sure is nice, right? Are you going to be quicker to promote somebody who does that? But on the other side, when you go to publish and produce, distribute your podcast guest interviews, how do you increase the visibility of those so that you, as the producer, are also maximizing the resource of your time and converting those into viable leads, maybe to attract more people to your show, maybe to sell the service that is the reason behind your show, which we're going to get into yours here in a moment. What are some of the things that you do on that side of things?
Obviously, publishing it on my website is kind of like that foundational piece. And then, so when I do share the episode, I'm pointing traffic back to my site because there are call to actions on the sidebar for different lead magnets that I have. A lot of people actually, which still surprises me, that their blog posts on their website that they don't have any call to actions. It's full width, so they don't even have the sidebars. And you can even take advantage of the real estate that's within the blog. Don't be afraid to have an image that breaks up some of the text that is a call to action to one of your resources or program or masterclass that you have, having a call to action at the bottom. So that is kind of like one piece of the puzzle. The other is distributing everywhere. So I will do a LinkedIn article. I have a LinkedIn newsletter. So people that subscribe to it do get notified whenever there's a new episode. So that way you're like in their face more, which is awesome. And then when anyone follows you that's new, they get an invite to that newsletter. Again, another way for them to, see you and get noticed all the time. And then email your list. It's funny how many people will not email their list that this episode went live. When you're nurturing your list, but you're also showcasing again your authority, that you're like a go-to trusted industry leader. And just another reason to like reach out, and don't be afraid to have a call to action in the PS at the bottom of the email, or, invite them to get on a call with you. That's really important. And then just making sure that you're using the content in all avenues. And I'll give you a few different ways. So when I get the episode, I strip out little sound bites. So obviously I know my own talk, I know my own topic, I know what little nuggets will be appealing or not. And so it's easy for me to go through. So I will create small square videos for like LinkedIn and Facebook. I will create reels and YouTube shorts. And sometimes, depending on the content, I will even create a carousel. Like if you have 3 ways to blah, 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 or like my 4 steps of my podcast leverage system. So I can easily create a carousel for LinkedIn or wherever, because they're super hot. And you can have a call to action at the end of it, which is always good. And so it's just a way of like multiplying that content. I've got that long form piece of content, hopefully in video, but you can always make audiograms if not. And then, just create all those little tiny bits and send them everywhere. And it's just an easy way of creating content that you don't have to create something new. And you could also showcase in those reels or the short videos, you can put the podcast art in the bottom corner and put featured on. So you're giving kudos to the host. You're giving them visibility for their podcast, but you're also showcasing that this little snippet came from that podcast that you guested on. So you're positioning yourself as an authority, giving that little piece of snippet of information. So like it's double duty.
Oh my goodness. That I think I love everything you just said. And that is really the power of podcasting, right? That energy, the ROE, the return on your energy, your effort is as far as you want to take it. There's so much value in leveraging that one podcast episode. And I know I work with speakers, right? And I have certain speakers who are like, it's not paid, it's not worth my time. It is paid if done right, it's paid monetarily, but also done right, it's paid in quote unquote revenue that is far more valuable than maybe, a host check done right. And if you really have the right mindset about it, you can throw out to me. I mean, there's different merits to having a marketing and advertising budget. But if you don't, this is your best way to go, right? Is on podcast.